morning, and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and Money Whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
I'm fine. I love the whole money whisperer thing. I think
You
I
know what?
am.
I got to come up with a little bit more creative things also, right? So, but I love the fact that you really are the Money Whisperer. Everybody
You
that's been
know?
watching, and because the bottom line is when it's all said and done, you guys can watch and hear from many financial planners, but at the end of the day, you are the real deal, right? Because you're not doing this to get clients. You're doing this for your legacy. You're doing this to help people and to make sure that we don't fall in these pits that we can't get out of, right? Following
It's
what
so
Uncle Timmy said and all of that. So,
yeah, it is so true. And the whole whisperer thing, the horse whisperer, the dog whisperer, it's
right?
like you tell your dollars what to do and they'll do it. It's just
That's it,
it's so
right?
simple. Just do that, right?
That's it.
I love it. I
Uh,
love it. I will
yeah,
be the money whisperer forever. I love that. Thank you.
you got to own that now. That's your new hashtag for sure.
Okay, that's great.
All right. So, folks, thank you for joining us this morning. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. We have a fantastic show for today. Last week, we were talking about, it's summer is winding down a little bit, and most kids, or a lot of kids, actually, I should say, are back in school. Some of them are going in the next couple of weeks. But we were talking about wrapping up summer fun without breaking the back last week. And this week, what I'd like to do is, and this is going to come up faster than we think, is really talk about financial planning for the school year ahead, right? Walk us through this little blueprint that you can help us and guide us as we get started with this new school year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, yeah, I'm a planner. Just plan, you know? And I think people that are thinking ahead can even plan now for the 25-26 school year. And just imagine a year from now, you're getting ready back to school again with the kiddos and got to do the backpacks and the shoes and the pencils and all that stuff, calculators, whatever it is. And imagine that you already have the money available where you don't have to whip out a credit card. You don't have to go, try to find the big bad sales and settle for stuff because all throughout the year you saved a little bit every paycheck or every month for that occasion. What if, right? And even if it's only 10, 15, $20 per paycheck, that's going to be a nice sum next year to start with. So I would say that the best thing you can do is plan for next year, but we still have this year. So I've got some tips for this year. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Actually, hold on one second. Remember,
Yeah.
I learned this from you. You guys need your pen and you need some paper to write this down, folks. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the big thing is find the deals, right? There's always deals. Use your newspaper, use your phone, for the deals in the area. Shop the thrift stores, shop the stationery stores. You always think, there's Target and there's Walmart and there's like all the regular places we go. What about the dollar stores? Right? Most communities have one on every other block, right? So the dollar stores, the thrift stores, where all the discount bulk items end up at the end of the season. We don't care if the backpack is last year's season, do we? We don't care if the pencils were made 2 years ago, not this year. It really doesn't matter for some of these items. Now, some of the bigger ticket items, it might matter where the quality matters or the certain variety matters. I'm thinking like junior high where you need those special calculators. There might be things that you need special items for science to supplement your science labs and things like that for the older kids. But for the littles, you need the crayons, you need the paints, you need the watercolors, you need um, the peachy folders. Remember peachy folders? You need the paper
Yep.
wide ruled, the college ruled, all those things that you need, erasers and scissors and all of that stuff. It doesn't have to be top of the line or retail that you buy on the corner at the big box, right? You might want to try some of these other spots where they actually have the big sales and the discounts, and they're trying to drive traffic into their stores. They might have the deals you're looking for.
That's true. And I was kind of looking. It's funny because you see a lot of memes for coming back to school and all of that. And we're talking about like things that were important to us back when we were kids versus what kids are with today, right? You talked about the peachy folders. Those were like, oh man, you can get these. And I remember that like you can get these for like 10 cents and you'd be able to buy a whole bunch of stuff with them. And then the other thing that was very big, for me was just if you got more than that 12 pack crayons and you got the 24 or the 48 or even the massive
Ooh.
64 with the sharpener, you were like
Oh, the
golden. You just
sharpener.
hit the jackpot. Do you remember that?
Oh, the special kids had that. Yeah, I think I might
Right?
have had one of those in my lifetime. But yeah, the special kids had that. The one that had grandparents funding their education, right? So yeah, those
So
were good times. But that sharpener, that was something.
right? That was it. That was like the
Still
Rolls
did.
Royce back then of the yep. Uh, so
Extra value. Love it.
tell us a little bit about so we talked about adults, we talked about creating buckets, right, for as we get older. But for kids, talk to parents or what can they do with their kids talking about money, right? We're starting a new school year. Most of them are a lot of them are be seniors getting ready to go out into the real world.
Yeah.
So how do we talk about that? How do we bring that up? How do we, teach our kids about money through back to school prep?
Oh, this is my wheelhouse. I love this, and it really all came from wanting our 5 children to be well versed financially. I wanted them to experience financial literacy at an early age and not have to struggle, not have to figure it all out. So, little things that we did that, it's timely because people are shopping for back to school now. A lot of the country hasn't gone back quite yet. Take the kids with you and help them learn about not just saving money, and I'll address that in a moment. But for most adults, it's not saving money that's a problem. It's having the money at the end of the month to save. That's the problem. So it's really an expense issue. It's a budgeting issue. I would call it a spending plan issue. Spending plan sounds so much more fun than
Yep.
budget. Budget's like
Yep.
diet, what you can't have, right? What you can't do. But for the spending plan, help them. So when you go shopping and you're looking at, for example, crayons, there might be 4 or 5 crayon brands. Well, Crayola brands, whatever, next to each other, and you look at the different costs of them. Are they basically the same? And this one is $2. This one is $2.50. This one is $3. Which one should we buy? It's so basic, right? But kids don't know. I mean, how would they know? It makes sense to buy the one that's less money because we have more money left over for either something fun to do or for the other supplies that we need. Right. And it's the same thing at the grocery store. You go and there's, all these different cans of green beans, 4 or 5, 6 brands, maybe 10 brands. It's crazy. So, and you look and there's 50 cents, 80 cents, $2, 3.95. Which one should we buy? If for some reason the brand doesn't matter right now, which one is the best deal? And they always have at the grocery store. It's kind of cool because they'll have a price per ounce. They actually do the math for you. We used to have to do it ourselves. Price per ounce is like, oh, or should I buy 12 rolls of toilet paper or 42 rolls of toilet paper? And it'll say right on there how much per roll or per sheet. If you want to get
Right.
real detailed, it's like, oh, well, if I buy, sometimes it's not the 42 roll, it's the smaller one that is the better deal. But you gotta look at that. So show your kids that art. Show them that art of how to do that and how it matters. It's only a few cents. It's only a few dollars, but all of that adds up over the year. And I think it's just part of being fiscally responsible stewardship, right? Just managing well what you have. So that's something we can do for back to school shopping. But when it comes to not just the expense part and the spending part, the savings part, you always want to help your kids learn how to save, not just money in the piggy bank, money in the piggy bank, money in the piggy bank, accumulate, accumulate. That's where you get these 40, 50, and 60-year-olds with a whole bunch of money in their bank accounts they're not doing anything with, right? That's not really stewardship. We're not helping Mr. Money. We're not money whispering, right? Telling the money what to do. It's just like, okay, go sit there, right? So we wanted to teach them how to allocate the income when it comes in. And I think a good example would be lots of ways to do this. And I've got books and all kinds of material out there on these things. But let's just say we take 40, 40, 20. And so if you have a teenager that has their first job, they're mowing lawns or they're, helping people clean out their garages or organizing for them or babysitting, whatever it is. If 40% goes to right now, spend it for anything you want, no questions asked, have a good time. You earned that. You worked hard and you earned it. And then the next 40% goes to a specific goal. Well, I'm saving for my first car. I'm saving for my first apartment. I'm saving for summer camp. I'm saving for some a fun trip that I want to do, right? Or when I go see grandma, whatever it is. So 40% is allocated for a specific goal or 2 or 3 goals. And then 20% never happen. 20% is going to go to pay yourself in your future self. And that's going to be money that is saved long term. We're not going to pull it out. It's a DNT account. Do not touch, right? And that money never happened. Pretend like it's a tax that you pay yourself. And later at retirement time, people that do that way are the ones that at 45, 50, and 55 are out on the soccer field coaching their kids. They don't have to go to the cubby, go to work. They're either independently wealthy or they're free because they did that little bit in those early years. So those are things that we can talk to our kids about, how to spend well, how to save well, how to manage what is coming in. We can do that from a very early age, and I encourage you to do that.
You've had a lot of experience with families, kids, with families, but I'd love for you to emphasize just how important. I don't think people realize how important it is for you to start teaching your kids very young, and putting them on this financial path for success, right? Because, like for me, I've shared with you too. It's like I learned from my parents, and that now knowing now what I know, it was like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the best way they were doing things, but that's all they knew, right? And that's all.
Right.
That's how I was able to learn. My dad was always about, you have $2, save a buck, spend a buck, that kind of mentality, but never talked about investing, never talked about anything that's important
Mhm.
that can help us when we get older. So if you can take a little bit of time just to emphasize that and maybe give an example of how you've been able to help some families, especially with the youngsters.
Absolutely. And kudos to your dad for teaching you how to save. Maybe there's a next level, beyond saving, how do we whisper to the dollars what to do, right? But what a gift for him to impart into you. You don't spend it all because some people have that issue. That's what was modeled for them. And they just like have this poof factor. Like, where did it go? Where did it go? And some people are married to someone like that. Like, I have holes in my pockets. And it's like, as soon as it comes in, it's like, I don't know what happened. It's the 5th of the month and it's gone already. So kudos to your dad for that. But I think one gift that we have is the gift of education for our kids. And I love the Socratic method. I guess I got that from law school. We went to law school together years ago. They don't tell you anything in law school. They ask you everything in law school. Everything is a question. And it's funny, we'll have 3 and 4 hour classes. And so the professor picks someone in law school to stand up and he asks or she asks you questions for 3 or 4 hours and you're standing up answering questions about all the cases you read and what you should have studied to prepare for the class. That's not pressure, right? But the Socratic method makes you think. It teaches you how to reason, how to think, and how to find an answer that's right for you at your house. We get to do that with our kids. We get to ask them questions. Well, if you have a choice to do this, here's the outcome. If you have a choice to do this, here's the outcome. Which outcome do you think would be better for you? What do you think you should choose? Good job. Or you have the courage as a parent to allow them to choose something that they're not going to be happy with later, right? So they're making little mistakes, not grown-up size mistakes. And they choose to spend their 50 cents on the little machine where the junk comes out and the little capsules, and then 5 minutes later it's broken and gone, right? Or they chew up the gum and it's gone. It's like, well, that 50 cents is gone. How does that feel? Now, there might be some kids that are like, it was great. It was the best gum ever. And that little sticky hand that I whacked you in the back of the head with while you were driving, that was so much fun. But other kids will say, you know, I would prefer to have something that's a little more long lasting. Maybe next time I'll choose something differently. and you help them cry, and then you help them remind them of a different choice next time. So that's kind of the experiential learning. Socratic is like that. It's like you have the experience, and I'm going to help you deliver from the outcome a result, a life experience that might help you move forward. So, to answer the question, that's kind of a philosophy, but start as soon as they're able to think and talk and communicate and walk. Toddlers can earn money, right? Toddlers can help you set the table. They can stack the shoes by the front door. They can sweep the patio. And one secret about raising kids that want to help you is if you let them when they're little, they'll want to when they're bigger, right? And sometimes,
Great point.
it is so much easier just to do it. Whatever just mop the floor, just hang up the clothes, just get the laundry done, just do it. Is I'm tired, just do it. But if you let them help, which takes a lot of OJT, a lot of training, a lot of extra patience, they're good at it. They have skills and they're going to want to later. So that goes for everything, not just household chores. It goes to how they earn money, how they manage money. Let them manage their own bank account and look at it. And when it's bigger than it was before, look, you had interest come in. Here's what you had last month. Here's what you have this month. Your money's working. Good job. You can do that when they're really little. And I encourage you to do that. Let them manage their money, not your money, their money while they're children. And it'll just be part of what they do. Experts tell us by age 7, the concrete of who they're going to be starts to set. We have until second or third grade for them to learn languages, learn money skills, learn culture, learn everything about life, where that's just kind of how we do it here. At our house, it was music lessons. They got up and they practiced all their instruments and music in the morning before school. They didn't know the whole world didn't do that. We didn't tell them that. This is just what we do. We did not tell them. They figured out in high school, so wait a minute. Not everybody gets up at 5:30 and does all this stuff. It's like, I know, aren't you glad? And by then they were, right? So same thing with money skills. If you want them to be fiscally sound, like really have skills around spending plans and things like that, let them practice while they're little. And I mean, really little. And you have an opportunity for them to learn that where it's just part of what they do. They earn money, they spend money, they allocate money, they get it working, they whisper to it, all of those things. It's very possible, and I encourage you to do it. It really works.
Awesome. And again, I just love how you take it's not only that we focus on adults, it's not only that we focus on retirement, but you also have a game plan for parents to really listen and sit down with their kids to be able to make sure that they're successful by the time they roll around in their 50s, 60s when they're getting ready to retire. And with the perfect planning, like you've talked about, it's great. Also, you may even retire before you're 50, just depending on what you do and everything else too. So, all right, folks, if you're just joining us, welcome. Make sure that you watch the beginning of the show, watch last week as well too, because we are talking about, summer's over, boo hoo hoo, but we want to make sure that our kids are getting back to school, and you as parents are getting back to school, really thinking ahead and planning ahead. And with that said, we're almost at the tail end of our show, folks, and you know what that means. I'm still calling this our summer financial challenge because we're at the tail end of it. So, what do you got for us?
Absolutely. Yesterday I talked to one family that started school yesterday and another family that has 2 more weeks. So it really depends. It's not like the old days where we all start Tuesday after Labor Day. It really does vary. So I have a couple of challenges because I kind of went into some practical and I went into some theory today. The practical is if you're still shopping for fall, go find the deals. You think out of the box, maybe make a list of 5 things you've never done before that might help with that budget as you're getting ready for school. The other thing is to involve your kids somehow. If you've got littles at home or you've got kids, kids or grandkids that you're working with, why don't you try involving them in the shopping, so they can practice spending, which is an art, right? So that's the practical side. On the other side, take the young people in your life and write down what you can do to help them learn how to allocate their spending plan. And maybe even think about if they don't have an income yet, it's probably time. If they're 8, 10, 12, 14, they should be earning money, fill up their Roth account, right? What can they do? Can they mow lawns, shovel snow? Can they organize garages? Can they help you? Can they create artwork? Maybe they're really artsy and they can create some holiday cards and sell those for the holidays to get money, right? All kinds of things. You can have a bake sale, whatever it is. So, whatever it is that your kids have an interest in, maybe they're pretty good at soccer and they can coach some little kids on soccer skills. Right? Why not? So there's so many things they can do. There's your challenge. Find something practical that has to do with the spending plan and find something tactical, planning wise, that you can do to help young people in your life get to the next level with learning these lifelong skills. You've got this.
All right, folks, there is your challenge. If you like to send us a message, if you need some help with it, or if you have any topics that you would love Judy to cover during the show as well, please let us know. Remember that follow her at judycopenbarger.today. All of her social media links are there. And as a reminder, we are here every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m., with the replays on Thursday at 8 p.m. Any last parting words, Judy?
Make it a great week. And if you're back in school, study hard. It's worth it.
All right. Until next week, folks, we'll see you guys later.